Hello and welcome to yet another playthrough for me of Fallout 4. Today we're going to try getting through the first few missions of the Minutemen, starting with the quest coming at 10 Pines Bluff. We're going to travel over there on survival mode, no HUD, and we're going to see if we can try and clear out some of the raiders over there. Currently, we're running a few mods. One of them is True Weathers. Got a sound mod. Also got a save mod because backtracking is a real big hassle for me with the current schedule I'm running. And we also have bullet physics. Miraculously modeled hair. Very nice looking. And we have a Minutemen mod that's not going to come into play later. As well as road flares and some sounds. But let's get on to trying to get over to 10 Pines Bluff, and I'll try and explain a few things that are going on in this playthrough so far. Most of the commentary is going to be done in post, so most of this gameplay you're seeing after the fact, but I'll try and keep you guys as well informed as possible. Over here is like my little Red Rocket secondary station over here. I think I'm going to turn this into a little tiny Minuteman outpost, but right now it's kind of hard to get all the materials, because in survival mode you have reduced carry weight, and that does kind of hinder you a bit. So we're going to go into our Pip-Boy here, select the mission so we know where it is. I already know where 10 Pines Bluff is, but it helps me kind of keep track of what I'm doing, because I have a little bit of ADHD here and there, and I kind of just get sidetracked. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just look at the map and follow the road, and make sure that we're going in the right places. I typically use the roads because half the time they're safer. There's some areas where they're completely dangerous. You should avoid the road at all costs, but this is not one of them. The road is relatively safe for 10 Pines Bluff. We're going to pull it up here, and we've noticed that I'm both hungry and thirsty, and at this point I was trying to figure out what I did have to eat, because I didn't really pack a lot for this mission. As you can see, I only have 66 pounds of gear on me, which is probably the lightest I've ever had any Fallout character ever. But I go through the list and I have a hard time finding anything that's already cooked, because I think at this time I had autoimmune disease because I took like 2 radaways, because I at some point I took a lot of rads. I don't know what I did, but we decided to take some grilled rad stag. It was a little bit of a waste, and I'll get into that as we're getting over to 10 Pines Bluff. And we're gonna, at some point, we're gonna start eating some flowers. There you see the suppressed immunity. A real big pain when you don't have any of the they're not antibiotics, they're the herbal stimulants, or whatever they like to call them. But we're gonna drink some water. I think I take 1 this time. Sometimes it takes 2, but I think this time it only took 1. And no, this time it did take 2, so it's the next time I only need 1. But we took the grilled rad stag and that, and as you can see, my little modified combat knife. You can find it over here near Concord, over to the right of me over there. There is an area where there's a dead raider. He has a shotgun, but on the grill right next to him, he has a combat knife, which is probably one of the best finds, because it's pretty. This is a pretty consistent drop point, so I do recommend it if you're ever going melee. But there's a combat knife over there, and that is probably one of my more favorite melee weapons. Some people prefer like longer reach weapons that do more damage and hit either medium or slow, but I like combat knives. It adds to a bit of the aesthetic and a bit of the role play of the character. But right now we're trying to follow the road as best as we can. We come to the side here, and you can hear all of the clicking is me trying to open up vats, because vats will notice someone way before I will. And that's a bit of a thing that I use to try and keep my wits about me in survival playthroughs, since we don't have the red marks and I can't just spam running into guys and kind of hiding. We also have a road flare mod, which allows me essentially to throw a road flare when it's super dark and I can't see, and it's pretty much like my Pip-Boy. That's just for immersion. That's really nothing fancy, nothing crazy. I think the only thing that kind of breaks it a bit is the I'm not sure if I have enabled fast travel on this one yet. I think I might have left it off, but yeah, I think I'll be able to tell you next video because I don't do any fast traveling in this one anyway. So we're going to go get some first aid out of this bus just because I figured there'd be something in there. Just thought I'd wander in there. I've never actually gone into that bus before, but yeah, pretty cool stuff. And I think we're going to come past thicket excavations or ticket excavations. I don't know which way it's spelled or pronounced, but I've cleared that. I don't know how because I had to fight a Mirelurk with only a pipe pistol, which should not have actually worked because one of them was legendary, but I think that mine that I placed before did do it. So we're going to follow the road here, going down and then back up. We're just going to follow the natural ravine that Bethesda probably wanted you to go through in the first place, and they just wanted to leave thicket excavations there just for you to explore a little bit, get some extra XP, make some money. But we're going to try and follow this as best we can and try not to get murdered, because typically I have a habit of going into intersections and getting murdered because I take on way more than I can chew. I am a very big offender of this, especially in survival mode, and I've also already cleared the Bedford station because I had my sniper pistol, which you guys will see in a moment, and I just kind of self-cleared it myself. It did take a little while, but eventually I got through it, and it's a blast. It was a blast one-shotting ghouls with a 308 pipe pistol, which I thought I'd never say. But apparently it's possible. Anything's possible in survival mode, which is what makes it a lot more fun for me nowadays. So going on ahead, we're going to kind of skip away from the road a little bit and jump over and see if we can rejoin a little bit later to see if we can try and get closer to Ten Pines Bluff. We've kind of overshot the road a little bit, so we have to kind of go under all of these bridges here to try and get over there. And we found the road yet again. We're going to take a small turn right or flick right around and see if we can just get up the ravine into Ten Pines Bluff to accept our mission. I'm not sure if anything else does happen past this point, so I might just do a little forward skip if I do see so necessary. If you see any gaps in the video, it's probably because the traveling was really boring, but that's a common ambush spot over there on the top of that ridge. Like almost every game I've played, every save I've had, this valley and that top end thing I was aiming at earlier is a common ambush point for AI. They just spawn there. One time I had a pack of alpha dogs spawn there. There was one time there's like 6 or 7 raiders that came across the bridge. It gets pretty crazy, pretty lit. But we're gonna follow the signs, come up here, grab the hub flower on the way because we need some jet and jet fuel because we do have chemist for survival. You need it in order to survive without antibiotics. And this guy sticks a gun at me, freaks me out a little bit. I almost popped him in the face, but he's our NPC.
Take it easy. I'm with the Minutemen. I'm here to help.
You're with the Minutemen? I didn't really think you fellas still existed. We sent word with one of them passing traders, but honestly, I never expected anything to come of it. Most people don't put much stock in the Minutemen these days, after Quincy. Bad business, that.
Do you want my help, or should I be on my way?
Don't get the wrong idea. I'm damn glad you're here. There's a raider gang that's been giving us trouble for weeks. Stealing food and supplies, threatening to kill us all if we don't pony up. We know where they're coming from, but we can't go up against a gang like that.
Will you be willing to join the Minutemen once I've dealt with those raiders?
We'll certainly give it a good long think. People have gotten used to not being able to count on you folks. That's not going to change.
So the thing to take a stock here is that typically when we run to Ten Pines Bluff, this will be different based on your gender, but you will always have the opposite gender address you. It feels like they're trying to set up for the Black Widow perk or something. I don't even know. We're going to head over to Corvega Assembly Plant, which you can actually see way off in the distance there. I might even have a freeze frame for this when this actually goes up live. But, yeah, it's going to be straight ahead. I'm going to get confused trying to find it for a little bit. And we ran into a dog! Just gonna see if he was crippled there, and I think we got a headshot up on him. No, he just went down. I don't know what happened. But, yeah. So, it does make you poop your pants a little when things do come out of nowhere and ambush you a little bit. And that is a caravan. Well, I'm gonna go check out and see what they have for now, because they might have something that I actually want. I don't 100% know what I brought with me to barter with, but I do know that I have like 1 charisma, and that my prices are going to be shite either way. So I'm gonna let the conversation go forth.
Sorry, don't have anything to sell. I'm on my way to Vault 81 to restock. Maybe you can find what you need.
That's disappointing.
Hi.
You looking to trade?
Let's trade.
The smiling Larry hasn't got it?
Okay, so here we're just going to take a quick look at our inventory and see what we can sell him and see what he has for us. Really, he doesn't have anything for us other than 308 rounds, which are very useful to me indeed, because it's a sneak build, and that is the hardest hitting round that I can fire out of any gun on me, because I only have a 38 pistol, a 308 pistol, and a knife. So, with that being said, the only thing I can use to hit the heaviest boss is a 308, and the last time I checked in this playthrough, I only had 20 of them, or 29 of them, and that wasn't going to be enough to clear that city. So I'm selling a few skill books just because I've read them and they've had no use to me. I don't use them as collectors or anything. And that nets me 158, which is pretty much a ripoff, but I accept it. Take 130 from him, and off on my way I go.
Just keep your hands where I
Sure,
can see.
whatever. If you're wondering why everything looks a little bit further away, it's mainly because I'm running 102 FOV. I just typed that into the files because it just allows me to see a lot more. And here's the ambush point. This time it was a bloatfly. And if you're wondering why I'm aiming ahead, it's there's a bullet physics mod. I might be able to leave a link in the description once I figure out what it's called. I think it's Weapons of Fate. But what it does is essentially gives each caliber of bullet a weight and a travel time, which is absolutely positively hilarious. Because there are some instances where you aim down or up, and it just makes shooting in general more challenging. But I think it also does a little bit for the AI, although the AI can stack hits on you anyway, which makes that even more funny. Yeah, the AI are actually pretty good at shooting. They're not awful, but there are some situations where you can get away with a lucky hit or two, unlike the normal hit scan model, where you'll just kind of get 2-shot and you can't even see them. Here, it'll give you a little bit of a chance, but if you screw up, you're just dead. It doesn't matter. So, we're going to head over to the Corvega assembly plant. I just saw a gunner over there, so I'm instantly into sneak mode, and now I'm just checking the area to make sure there's no one around. And here we find our first set of armor that's pretty good. The video's probably going to go down a little bit so I don't get a copyright strike because of that radio. There's no way really to turn them down in the menus, but here it gives me 24 damage resistance, and here I'm trying to experiment with what that actually means. Because I typically never pick up cage armor, because my armor is modified to the point that I am past it, and military fatigues is pretty dope to wear. They give you +1 strength, and later in the game you can ballistic weave them, and it's pretty nice. I found these in like a crate somewhere. That's just a really lucky find. This has actually been a lucky playthrough ever since I started. But and I don't have any luck. But I'm gonna look at all of our stats. We have a total of 29 damage resistance with all the stuff we have on. So we're gonna take this cage armor and check what we have after we equip it, which is gonna get rid of everything except the glasses and the hat, and that gives us 34, which is pretty dope. I take it because, quite frankly, I do not have the armor smith perk yet, so I can't really upgrade anything yet. So we're just going to drop all this off at her house when we get back, and we're going to just leave her naked body there. It's a totally awesome thing to do for anyone that you look. Her crotch is even showing. Like that's just messed up. But we're gonna try and head through a fence with our faces. That's totally how we're gonna do this playthrough. We eventually do realize we can't crouch under that and go around, but we're gonna start heading through the back entrance of the Corvega assembly plant through the roads. And the interesting thing here is we run into another ambush point, which consists of what looks to be a gunner, which I am not equipped to fight right now, even though he's not wearing any armor. I have no idea what level he is, and I wasn't even going to risk it. And if you look on our right, we've got the world's most giant mosquito. Like, what the hell? So I snipe him with the pistol, doesn't take him down, and he runs away, as they typically do. Nice. So, with that being said, we're gonna try and see if we can slowly make our way into the intersection. I pull out my knife just in case I can pull out a sneak attack, and then we catch another one off guard and we see if we can hit him up for a few shots, and we do get 3 shots on him, knocks him down. And his buddy's coming back. I block with a knife for no reason because I pull out the sniper pistol that we've got some new rounds for. And I'm not sure if he's coming back or if he's just freaked out and run. Because sometimes they do, like, they do ambush you if you try and follow them sometimes. As well as bring friends. Or sometimes they just come back when they're not looking and they poke you and you get some type of super aids that debuffs you a hell of a lot. But here we make a pretty incredible shot. I didn't expect to make that, but we led the shot perfectly, hit him in the torso, and knocked him out of the sky. We're not going to try and loot his body, I don't think, but we're going to check and see what that gunner was here for. And I don't think he was really here for much, because the only thing here was a rad roach and a few bugs that I remember. Let's see what he has. He has 2 caps. Nice. So we're just trying to make sure we stay as hidden as possible, so if that gunner does come back, we get the first shot. Or the initiative, as someone would like to call it. And we're just gonna try and collect as much as we can and make our way down the road toward Corvega assembly plant. I might skip some of this just to make this video shorter because it's getting long enough as is as I go on for the autosave, just in case I have one of those really strange spawns that tends to happen to me and only me just a bit. But we're going to take a quick scout around and possibly cut over to the next clip. Alright, so we're just coming out of this residence here. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but I typically used to go through here for supply runs a while back when I had a lot of lockpicking skill early on, but I've kind of drifted away from that in my more recent playthroughs of builds and whatnot. But we're going to come to our first little sentry point here, which is infested with some raiders. Some raider scum we need to get rid of. We currently have a sniper pistol. I see one guy over there scouting for another guy if there is one. And I want to see what else is also around this outpost, because I don't remember it all too well. I just remember there are a few guys and possibly a sentry. So that's 2. We're going to see if we can line up this headshot, the sneak attack, because we are a sneak build. That's where we get most of our damage from. And we're going to go for the kill. It's 1 down. And she's looking. And we hit the headshot, I believe. I don't know if she's dead yet, though. She's still alive. So we're going to look out and see if she tries to flank us, because it seemed as if she fell off the building, and there she is right there. She's just reappeared right over the crest of the building. She's going back over toward the other one to take a quick look. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should stay here. Should I move? I have some good cover here. If she fires back, I'll have something to fight against. I'll be able to see a Molotov if she throws it, but right now it's the game of who jumps first at this point. And she comes out. We let a little too much in, missed the shot, but we get her right in the back, and that's just enough damage to let us through. Gonna reload our pipe sniper pistol, and we're gonna do a little bit more scouting around to see what can be over here. We're gonna go around the fence so we see our first sentry, the only one I know of so far. We're gonna take a quick shot at the combat inhibitor, take it straight out. I don't think that does any extra critical damage, but it does help me out a bit that I can watch out these things. And then we spot another sentry, and we hit it straight in the front piece. And that takes a second one out. So I believe we are all clear for this outpost as I start running up there. And my foolish self just keeps running into it and trying to jump and realizing there's something above me. We have no lock picking skill, so we can't pick much. I take the jet and I grab some 38 rounds, but I don't take any out of the gun, I don't think, because I don't think I need them at this point. Turn on our Pip-Boy light since it seems to be all clear. We're going to take all of the 5.56 ammunition we can get. This might help us out later in the game when we have a lot of levels and we can afford to spend some on the rifleman perk. But for now, it's kind of just as ammunition storage, possibly for a companion later. And this is probably the 4th time this playthrough, as we have some graphical glitches going on. The 4th time this playthrough that I've actually come across a sniper rifle, which in every single other one of my playthroughs that I've ever done, it took forever to come across a sniper rifle with a full stock and a scope on it. I think I've come across 2 in this one, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But we're going to try and see if we can get back in here and see if we can try and get to that sentry. And this is the point where I realize the entire section is walled off and that rifle fell down when I walked past her because I think I have physics enabled. We find our first ghoul here by himself and I accidentally put my helmet inside of him as I'm trying to take the bottle caps, but we're trying to see if we can get into the turret and take the military grade circuit board, the power coil as well, and some ammo. We take the gasoline. And at this point, we're a little overweight because we still have our armor from the previous encounter. But now we're going to slowly make our way into the town through the rear entrance. So, me trying to figure out which binding is my sniper pistol. As you can look and see here, this poor bastard's strung up on top of the basketball hoop. Poor dead bastard strung up on the basketball hoop. I don't see an entrance there, and I don't feel like going around possibly exposing myself because I don't know where all of the AR are exactly. So I go through the back way, and I found some 45 rounds, some bottle caps, and some corn. Because everybody loves to eat their vegetables. No. Anyway. Enough of the really awkward puns. We've got to get going. So I hear this gunfight going down, and I think, oh no, this is not a good idea. Try and jump over this and see if I can get a better angle. And it gets awfully quiet. So this is me just trying to see if I can get a good vantage point from here. So if I take some fire, I have something to hide behind. And here's where I spot a raider, and I'm looking for 2 because that's all I heard. So I get my sniper pistol out, I see 2 raiders, and they're all in clear view, so I take my first shot. Goes right down the pool. And the second one I start taking with the pistol. I get a little bit paranoid in this one because I start taking fire, have to take a reload, and since he's got the drop on me, I use VATS, line up a headshot, take him down. Score for me. I think at this point I realize I'm running severely low on ammunition. So I'm starting to take the pistols now because I only had 28 rounds on me. It's going to put us at 33. And this one's going to put us at 64. And we're currently carrying 108 pounds. We take some 38 rounds and some cigarettes. This ghoul has some more rounds for me. So this is pretty much my lucky day. This is probably the luckiest streak I've ever gone on. We're going to take the frag grenade and the Molotov out of this box. And we're going to look for that third guy that we took down because I don't see him here. And I forgot what had happened in the firefight because I was kind of so involved in the game. And I just couldn't pick him out through all of this tarberry, which kind of looks pretty gross. And I didn't really want to pick it up because I think it's irradiated. So, me not trying to get any radiation, or as little radiation as possible, was trying to avoid everything. Didn't feel like picking up the pistol. And I still can't spot him out. So I'm thinking of going, and I say, no, I gotta try by the pool. And then I realize that after I double back, if I do double back, I forget what exactly I was trying to do in this one. I think I was double checking to make sure that he wasn't in the foyer because I wasn't paying attention. Then there he is, floating off in the water in a direction. And I take that, and I take his pistol, put it back. That's going to put us at, I think, like 70 odd, 80 odd rounds. Which, nope, that puts us at 102. Which is pretty much just enough to try and clear half of Corvega with if I got into an intense firefight. Which I don't think that I will, but that's going to be for the second or third part of the video. It depends on how I decide to chop these up. We're going to try and go through this back entrance over here. And, yeah. This is a pretty dangerous area, considering I think the third time I came here, I ran straight for the safe and died because the whole place was booby-trapped and supernovaed because there's so many cars over here. So, currently, I'm just trying to scout some things out, and I might just cut through this bit because it's not really necessary. I don't find much. I think I only find a few medical supplies, but it does help us out a little bit. Not very much, but just a little bit. Alright, so we've just finished scouting through the town so far, and we're kind of just looking around to see whoever's left in the general area. That lockpick, I believe that safe is a master lock, so we don't even bother with it so far. And I believe this is also like a bit of an uprise, and I think there's some raiders in it, but that's not our main mission here. Our main mission is to try and help the guys at 10 Pines Bluff. And here I spot a spotlight a little bit through the billboard, which I think just automatically happens to the vanilla game. I don't know why, but it does for that specific spot. And from my examination, I believe it's power armor. So here I'm just scouting through this last little area just to see if I can get some extra supplies for the fight that might be coming there. I found like 2308mm rounds, which that is almost a godsend because that's pretty much what we're going to need for some of the people and the boss inside. It's going to be an easy way to get through it, but we spot the spotlight again. We're going to see if we can try and wait and see if we can get an ambush shot off on him. So I believe the first one hits, and we just see if we can hide as best we can, and see if we can lose a little bit of aggro on him before we start peeking back out. We peek back out, and we see that he's got a giant fat man, which I don't believe we're going to have enough to try and carry that, but it does mean we're going to have to be very careful trying to pick and choose our shots. We're lucky that that one torso shot in the back does down him. His buddy over there is confused at what happened, and he goes to pick up his fat man and continues walking up on the bridge, which is probably the smartest thing I've ever seen. So we're going to try and see if we can get closer, which is pretty dangerous because if he spots us with that fat man, we're pretty much screwed. But we're going to try and see if we can get a little bit of a ambush shot onto him and see if we can just cover more area. We're going to see if we can try and get him around this billboard. He doesn't seem to be sticking out too much from the left-hand side. Let's see if he runs back to the right. No, it seems like he's staying. So we've taken our third shot. He doesn't seem to know where we are, but it seems like we either hit the guardrail or we've just missed him by about a mile. So he's going to run back over toward the other side, and we don't get the shot on him quite lined up right at that moment, so we decide to see if we can wait him out. Unfortunately, our sitting and waiting strategy doesn't necessarily pan out, so we have to risk our butts a little bit more and get a little closer. And then, as I find out, he comes right out, stops for the perfect torso shot, knocks him straight off the bridge, and we are clear to go almost anywhere in this city after clearing that one little crevice. Now, I remember in a very, very early playthrough, as I do contemplate on trying to go back over there and get his stuff, that there is a pipe over here that you can actually get into the Corvega assembly plant into, which is very useful. Yeah, right here it is. And it pretty much allows you to take the easiest way in as I try and figure out what this marking means. And I don't have that experience yet, so we're going to enter the Corvega assembly plant, and I'll meet you guys over there for part 2. Peace.